Yo, people, what is good? Welcome back to my channel. It's Tapping Tobs here, and I'm here with Tosin.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to all of you lot. We thought we'd do a Bad Blood special since we're going to be in the same household for today. You know, what's that term? Something is given. I can't remember the term.
What?
Something. It's like sharing is given or something like that. I can't even remember the term.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. So we thought we'd share the love on Christmas Day. Please let me know if there are any audio issues as well. This is the first time I'm using these Bluetooth mics directly for a stream. So just let me know if the performance is okay or not. I don't know how many people are going to get watching this, but who knows? We're here to talk about Arsenal. We're here to talk about Tottenham. There's been a lot that's happened since the last episode we did. Arsenal thought they were back in the title race. Then Liverpool slapped them back down to their position by slapping us. We have lost too many games to count now. There's just so many.
17.
There's so many. Exactly. There's 8 in 17, 8 losses in 17. We've lost more games than we've won. And the questions I'm going to ask, so I'll be the ones asking some of the questions. But we just want to talk about the state of play with both clubs now heading into the new year, because this is probably going to be, I would say this I don't know, are you free next Monday? Yeah, so I was going to say this was probably going to be our last one of the year, but no, we'll probably do one next Monday. We'll do another live stream again. But yeah, let's actually, you know what, because we talk about Tottenham a lot, right? Let's actually start with Arsenal first, because I don't want to just like bore the situation. So obviously, since the last time we spoke, you lot have been in the goals recently, right? Gabriel Jesus bagged a brace against Crystal Palace in the cup game.
Yep.
Or was it a hat-trick in the cup game?
He bagged the hat-trick in the cup. And he bagged the double in the league.
Exactly. So all of a sudden, he went from, 0 goals?
Crystal Palace killer.
Yeah, all of a sudden, he went from like 0 goals to 5 goals in God knows how many appearances, man. But talk to me. Where are you at now in terms of Arsenal's title charge heading into the new year? Because Liverpool has still been able to maintain a 6-point gap on you. You've still got 1 game extra that you've played in comparison to Liverpool. Where's your head at in terms of the title race? Let's put the Sakas talk to the Sakas. We're going to speak on that separately, but just generally, where are you at in terms of Arsenal's chances of winning the title?
I still think we can win it.
Will you win it though? Like, what do you believe now? If I put a gun to your head and said in May,
no, I don't believe we will. I believe we can, even with a 9-point gap. But like I said it 2 weeks ago, Arsenal now, before it was a we will. Maybe like a month ago, it was a I still believe we will, right? But this team needs to show me they're serious. They need to show me they really want to win it, because the mentality that I've been seeing from them the past month has been utterly unacceptable. The mentality I've been seeing from the manager and the choices he's made has been utterly unacceptable. Whereas Liverpool's standards, and the thing is, Liverpool haven't been great the past few weeks. They haven't been.
They've dropped points.
They've dropped points. Yeah, no, people are. Oh yeah, title going to Spurs. Liverpool laying the gauntlet down. Yeah, okay, great, impressive, but it doesn't take much to beat a Spurs with Roman Reigns as a centre back, and why am I calling Roman Reigns? Dragusin expressions, man. Dragusin and Archie Gray, right? 6-3, okay, great, but 6-3 against Tottenham away from home. Liverpool haven't been great, but what they've done is that they've just been consistent.
But what have you been though? If they've not been great, what have you been?
We've been inconsistent. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm like, this team, they've just not shown that them and the manager haven't shown that they really want this league title. So unless I see them stringing wins together, unless I see them actually showing like we actually want to win this instead of all of their nonsense, I'm not going to come out and say, yeah, we're going to win the league. I think we can, but they've taken it from a definite to a probability that we can win the league, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking about the team. I just want to see them put together a run of wins, because with Saka, without Saka, the team can do it. We've just been doing stupid nonsense. We've been playing slow football. We've not been clinical with our chances. Arteta's made some dumb team selections, and this is the thing. This is the thing about Arsenal. It takes us going. We never do stuff in ones. We do stuff in bunches. It takes us going run, like a bad result, then another bad draw, then this and that. It takes that and utter chaos only for us to just pull our fingers out and say, you know what, let's play the right team. Let's not be idiots. And that's why I'm thinking, is it too little, too late? Let's see.
I mean, there's a tweet from an Arsenal fan called @Eminori. He said he made a table. This is the table. He made a table back when you lot were playing United and Liverpool playing Newcastle. And he said next 10 games, he expected you lot to win 10 out of 10. And he expected Liverpool to win 6 out of 10, drawing 3, losing 1, right? So we are 4 games into that 10-game run. And in the 4-game stretch, you beat Man United, you drew to Fulham away, you drew to Everton at home. that's a pathetic result. And you beat Crystal Palace well away from home. In that period, Liverpool have drawn away to Newcastle. Game didn't go ahead against Everton, so they got the game in hand. They drew at home to Fulham because they went down to 10 men, and then they battered us. And they're still 6 points ahead of you,
exactly,
with a game spare. Exactly. I think that is really that's a terrible indictment on your.
It's absolutely poor.
Title hopes.
It's poor. And the thing is, those games, the draws are what's killing us. Like we've won the harder games. We beat United at home. We beat Palace away. I don't care what anyone tells me. That's a tough game away from home, Selhurst Park. You draw 0-0 at home against Everton. Are you serious? And you draw 1-1 to Fulham away. Yeah, Fulham are a good team. But the frustrating thing in both those games is that we've had the chances. We can put these teams to bed. So it's difficult. And that's why I'm saying, right, you guys are showing me you don't want to win this league because Liverpool have been there for the taking. And you're just coming out on the pitch and you're doing nonsense.
So this comment from Sustainable Shooter, big up Sustainable Shooter as well, long time follower of my channel, man. I appreciate you, bro. Also a fellow Spurs fan. Don't worry, we're going to speak about Tottenham later on. But he says, I think Arsenal will be fine, to be honest. I can't lie. Might not be enough for the league, but I think they'll finish top 2. So do I.
So.
I still think
I think we're going to finish above Chelsea this season.
Yeah. It's tight. It's tight.
I don't think it's tight.
They really need to strengthen in January, though. This is a must. Now, let's focus on this, right? Because Bukayo Saka, I think every single Arsenal fan and their dog knew eventually you were going to encounter this sort of problem because you keep playing, overloading a player who's still churning out very good performances, but it's now got to a point where you're finally going to enter a period where you'll have no Bukayo Saka. And we get it. Like, you've had your period this season where you had no Odegaard. I think it was like a 2-month stretch where you didn't have Odegaard. You started off well in terms of how you're handling it, and then it just started to fall away. Where's your head at now with Bukayo Saka's injury? And how do you expect Mikel Arteta to resolve this?
My head is, we still need to win. Saka or no Saka, we absolutely still need to win. And I actually think, look, at the end of the day, we've been saying this since 21-22 season when we nearly got top 4 and Spurs pipped us, that the team is far too reliant on Bukayo Saka. And this is an issue that Arteta has not fixed the past 3 seasons, which is an indictment on him. But I think, honestly, man, it's a kind. I'm looking at it positively. It's a blessing in disguise for us in that the team needs to find, with or without Saka, we need to find solutions where we're not reliant on him anyway. Because I think actually that's what will unlock Arsenal. Because if we're able to actually have, that's what made us so dynamic in the 22-23 season when like we surprised everyone with title chance, because there was dynamism on the right and the left. The games where Saka may not be at his best, Martinelli's turning up the numbers, Xhaka's getting the numbers, Zinchenko's doing bits on that left-hand side. Since that season, we've completely lost that. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. Okay, Arteta, show me what you're gonna do. Let me see what you're gonna say against the accusations that you can't coach an attack, which is nonsense, because those 2 seasons, our attack was blistering. But let me see what you can do in it. Let me actually see you build a team that's not so heavily reliant on the same combination over and over again, and add another facet to our attacking play that actually that means that when Saka comes back, we'll be even harder to play against, because we can hit you from the right, we can hit you from the left, like what Spain were doing all throughout the Euros, and no one could stop them. If you try and triple mark Yamin Lamar, okay, cool. Nico Williams. If you try and triple mark Nico Williams, okay, Yamin Lamal, you've got killers all over the pitch. Let's see what you can do. And I think that's what we can do.
The problem is, you look at your attackers, though. I think when you look at the players that you have at your disposal, Martinelli, he looked better off the right the other night, but Martinelli has also been someone who's been woefully out of form and inconsistent for Arsenal. You look at Leandro Trossard, we've spoken about it ourselves here. He's a 12th man. Now you're going to start asking him to be churning out performances week in, week out. Sorry, there's no way on earth you lose Bukayo Saka and you don't dip into the window. You should have dipped into the window even in the summer to bring in an attacker. And I know, I get it. You signed Raheem Sterling on loan, but let's be serious. You needed someone hungrier alongside of Raheem Sterling to come into this team and give them a lift. I didn't think Sterling in isolation was that bad a move. I thought he's got the talent where if you can reignite the hunger, maybe it's a gamble that can pay off. But that shouldn't have been your standalone attacking signing. There's no way on earth you're trying to go for a league title, seeing what the competition was last year, and you don't do anything to address the fact that you've got guys out, Bukayo Saka and who was your second top scorer last year? I can't even remember. Was it Kai Havertz?
I think it was Kai Havertz, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know. I feel like when you watch that Arsenal attack, there's only one go-to attacker.
Yeah,
you need more than one go-to attacker. Trossard can win you games here and there, but you need a go-to guy who 90% this guy's gonna pull us out the mud.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, but I also know my club. If we were serious about buying a proper, someone who's gonna not be at Saka's level, but someone a top-notch,
This is funny.
Attacking player.
Someone said Martinelli, Havertz, and Jesus front three. Oh my days! I started laughing.
True. I mean, we can laugh about that, but the way I see it is, you're seeing coaches that have less quality players produce stuff in the league. You're seeing, and the thing is, maybe some of these teams have better players than us, but I'm seeing Fulham doing a good job. I'm seeing Nottingham Forest, Elanga, Hudson-Odoi, Chris Wood. I'm seeing them do bits. You mean to tell me that I'm not trying to say what they're world class.
There's definitely coaching. There's definitely coaching tweaks you can make.
The thing is, a lot of Arsenal fans oh yeah. I think maybe with the Sterling injury, because he said Sterling is out for a while and Saka's out for 8 weeks. I think now definitely you need to buy a winger. You definitely need to buy someone. But let's be honest, are we gonna get someone top level? Are we really? Who are we gonna get top level?
Put the money down.
Who?
Go to Napoli and go get Kvaratskhelia.
I would love that, but are Arsenal really going to do that? No.
You did 105 million for Declan Rice. If you can't,
but we're not. I know my club. If we were gonna do that, we would have done that in the summer. We wouldn't have cheaped out and gotten Raheem Sterling, which looked like a shrewd signing at the time, right? But it's obviously not working out that way. I just don't see. I'm hearing us linked with Randall Kolo Muani, dead player. That's the club we're dealing with right now. So I'm thinking Arteta just got to look in the team and then make the most. Either Lookman, or
saying Mbeumo.
I would love an Mbeumo.
Lookman apparently he's got a release clause. I remember in the summer,
I would love to.
A lot of your fans were some. I say a lot.
I wanted him.
Maybe not a lot, but some of your fans I saw were scoffing at the thought of signing Lookman. And I'm like, hang on a second, he's better than it.
He comes in and he's our second best winger he's our second best attacking player after Saka. Easy. So let's see. I mean, I would love for the club to do something, but right now I'm trying to look for solutions from within. And if I look from solutions from within, look, bro, you can do something. I saw a comment saying, "Oh yeah, Jesus' form is unsustainable." I don't think it is. I really don't think it is, because people are saying Jesus reborn. I don't even think he's reborn. I think he's just doing things differently to
Jesus is a purple patch kid.
Yeah. That's okay. Purple. It could be a purple patch kid, right? But what I'm saying is, you're seeing a way that Arsenal can play, which I don't think we've seen yet, where you've got Jesus as the striker and you've got Havertz as the actual 10, as the centre forward, as the trequartista.
Yeah,
that can work.
No, it can't.
Yes,
Havertz
it can work.
Crap. Sorry,
say what you want. Say what you want. my man can play. My man, if he's playing with a striker ahead of him, think about it. At Arsenal, you've not seen Havertz playing at the 10 position.
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
I have.
No. We have not. We've seen Havertz where he's playing at the 10 position, where you've got someone who's pulling the strings in midfield behind him. We've not seen that. What Arteta's done at Arsenal since Havertz has come is he's played Ødegaard advanced and he's played Havertz advanced and he's made Havertz roam in midfield. That which was terrible, which was complete dross last season. We've not seen a system where Ødegaard is the 8, playing, dropping deep, knitting play together with him in the midfield. He's not done that. He's not done. The first time I've really seen him do that is shades in pre-season and against Crystal Palace. He's not done that otherwise.
I don't know, man. I think I get the point you're trying to make, but I feel like I've seen some iterations of what you just.
And by the way, I'm not saying Havertz is good. I'm not saying he's good. I think he's basic. He's a basic option, but I'm saying even with that, there's still stuff that I've not seen Arteta try enough to do what's sensible with this team. You look at Arne Slot. What's made Slot so good this season? He's not an idiot. He literally approached. It's almost like, I don't know what it is, but it's like managers have a thing to think opposite to what most fans think.
Yeah, but to try and make themselves
look smarter and whatnot. Pep does it.
I'm glad you said.
But
this,
when Slot, but you look at Slot. Slot literally does what you expect him to do.
Yeah.
People look. He went. You're going to that Spurs game, right? We saw. Okay, we know Slot is a guy that likes to control things, right? But when bare people are telling you, okay, Man City are weak, they're down. If I'm on a Slot, go at them. Savage them, ravage them, give them hell. What did he do? Savage them, ravage them, give them hell. Don't start off with control. He's playing against Spurs away. Okay, they've got no centre back. This is not the time for control. Absolutely overwhelm them. What does he do? He absolutely overwhelms them. If that's Arteta, he's not doing that. Arteta's going to try some sort of weird thing for 45, 50 minutes. It doesn't work.
Against the
right.
Better,
it doesn't work, and then he goes back. Then he goes back to what he normally should have done. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying these plays are great, but I'm just saying Arteta has to hold a lot of blame because he's not played plays in the right positions. He's not found the right chemistry. He's not found the right balance in the team. So until he does that, I'm not trying to look for solutions outside. Fix what is going on inside and then add what's outside to make it even better. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I want to see how he deals with Saka, because we've never had to see him cope without Bukayo Saka since he's been in the Arsenal job. Bukayo Saka has been
always been available.
The one that's always been available, and for me, he's your best player. He's your best player. So
100.
It'll be interesting to see how he fares with this, right? And evidence this season points to him struggling, and that's why I feel like if Bukayo Saka was fit, I don't know. I had close to full confidence that you could catch Liverpool, or not even catch Liverpool. I had close to full confidence that you could properly put pressure on Liverpool, and I think you still can.
Only if we buy someone.
But now it's like no Bukayo Saka. I don't think an internal solution is going to cut it. Sorry.
We're only catching Liverpool only if we buy someone. I think if we don't buy someone, we'll probably beat the smaller teams that we should be beating, even though we've drawn it. But I can't see, especially with the amount of games we got in January, I can't see them really catching Liverpool unless they buy someone.
Yeah. So before we move on as well, people smash the like button, man. What the heck is going on here? I know we were late. I know that this is a inconvenient time because we're taking you away from eating your Christmas turkeys and whatnot. But just smash the like button. Honestly, we don't do this often, so at least show us some love. Big up Saeed as well. I saw your comment in there. Last question before we move on to Tottenham.
I don't want to move on to Tottenham.
Mbeumo. So he's one I've seen a lot of your fans.
I would love him.
A lot of your fans speak about. Right. He's on 10 Premier League goals this season. I don't know. Brentford are in the top 10. I can't see them selling him unless it's big money.
Unless
what's the most you'd be willing to pay for Mbeumo, or do you not care about the price?
I would spend 50 M's on him max. I think
be serious.
He's a 50 M player.
They're not gonna sell him for 50 million.
Actually, tell a lie.
Come on.
If we spent 65 M's on Havertz, I would happily spend. I'll spend 65 on Mbeumo. I'd spend that on Mbeumo because it's January, Premier League tax. How old is Mbeumo? 26, 20.
I think he's at 24, 25.
Yeah, I'll take him. I'll take it, and he can play all across the front three.
Yeah,
Players like him and Kudus, we should be looking to sign. They're available. We can get them, but it's not
25 years old. Yeah.
But it's not going to be easy getting these players. Brentford won't want to sell as well, man. Like, come on, we've tried this stuff.
100%.
But this is the problem with Arsenal, that we're even in a position where we have to do this in January. Like,
but then this is why I'm like, are you not really serious about the title or not? And this doesn't just go for Arteta, but it goes for your club. Like, I saw you try and put peas down for Mudryk when Arteta was in a title charge. I saw you try to put peas down for Caicedo. We can talk about, Arsenal don't spend in January. Great, fine. You don't spend that big in January, but you spent big money on the likes of Declan Rice and the likes of Havertz. You went out your way to sign Calafiori in the summer. Like, you should, as a club who's really looking to win the title here, especially when you look at the state Man City are in, you have to go out and buy it, especially with Bukayo Saka injured. You have to buy it.
I don't know.
You have to buy
it. I don't control the club. Let's see what they do in it. We have to buy it, but let's see what we do.
All right, that's enough about Arsenal. We've got your prediction for the league. We've got your thoughts on the Bukayo Saka injury. In fact, you know what? Last point. So you lot play. Who do you play next? Ipswich.
We've got Ipswich at home.
Come on, that's a dead rubber. Forget about it.
Yeah, but let's just beat him. I mean, the Ipswich game will tell us. The Ipswich game is going to show us what his main number one option is. Because I'm hearing a lot of people are calling for Ethan to actually play in that right, but calling for Ethan to actually come in instead of Trossard. But I know what he's going to do. This is my last question actually. What's your preferred? So we know that obviously you've said that your preference is they bring in another player, right? But before that player comes in, if that player doesn't come in, what is your preference in terms of your current crop of players to start in attack? Honestly, I'd like to see Ethan given a run of games on the right. But then that means Martinelli going back to the left, where he's terrible. Honestly, yeah, I'd like to see Ethan. Even if I'm looking at Saka's profile, the only type of play that kind of does that, coming in on the left, beat his man, is probably Ethan. I'd like to see Ethan given games as a right winger, but I think Arteta, he's going to play Jesus, Martinelli on the right, and Trossard on the left, and Havertz in the 10. I think that's what he's going to do. That's what he's going to do.
Okay, Jesus up top.
Yeah. I think Jesus, the way he's playing now, he has to start.
But then also Jesus is injury prone as well.
That's another thing.
He could go down or just drop off form.
Yeah, he could. He could.
You need another attacker for sure.
Yeah, we do.
For sure. You need another attacker. Thank you to Salman for keeping people in check in terms of the likes. Let's move on to Tottenham, man, because
I don't want to move on to Tottenham.
No, let's talk. We have to talk about Tottenham. So I actually wrote down some questions because there's a lot of noise generating around Ange's job security. But I think it's fan-led noise. I don't think it's noise from the club, because all the talk from the club indicates that they're fully behind the manager. And they're going to give him as much time as possible. And they're even going to give him reinforcements in January. And in any normal circumstance, I'd be like, this is what you should be doing. This is what you should have done for the likes of Pochettino, etc., etc. Like, we know, and we've spoken about this before, we know at the top of every mess that occurs at Tottenham, there's one consistent figure. And that's Daniel Levy. That's the ownership. Like, they're terrible, right? Mm-hmm. But my concern is, even with Ange not getting the first choice targets that he needed across the pitch, even with him having to rely on kids outside of Dominic Solanke and Timo Werner, I still think that the results that we've had this season does not befit a team with the quality of players that we have. Now, if I go through our team, we're not better than Arsenal. We're not better than Man City. We're not better than Liverpool. We don't have a better squad than Chelsea and haven't performed better than Chelsea. So we're not better than Chelsea. And then, so that's at least 4 teams with better squads, better man for man than Tottenham. And then you look at Man United and Aston Villa. I think we've got a better squad than Man United. I don't know about you.
Yeah, you have. I don't know if
I don't think we've got enough bodies at centre back. But I think overall, I think we've got more quality in our squad than Man United. And then I look at
not Villa though.
And then I look at Villa. Villa's comparable.
I would probably same level.
I would say, yeah, I would probably edge us in some positions. I'd edge Villa in some positions. Like they've got Watkins and Duran. We don't have two. Like Solanke is good, but we don't have two like gunmen. Like Son is the only player I think in our team that's a legitimate gunman. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But you
What
would
about
say
Solanke?
Solanke is good, and he scored. I
like him.
He's a good player. I feel like he needs to score more. He's a good player, but the point I'm making is it's comparable. So then you're saying, okay, Spurs have the 5th or 6th best squad in the league, right? Spurs are 11th. We're 11th. We're 8 losses. We're 8 losses in 17. And we can talk about injuries. But we have maintained close to a 50% loss rate throughout the season. Before the injuries, before Van der Ven went down, before Romero went down, we still had Brighton loss. We still had drop points at Leicester. We still had lost to Newcastle. We still had lost to Crystal Palace. Like that's 4 losses off the bat. I noticed I didn't even include you, but that's another loss at home. That's
when we had no Rice, no Odegaard.
And it's not all on Ange. There are so many players that are underperforming. Romero, our best centre back, he's been terrible. Basuma been poor. I think our best player,
Basuma.
Basuma. I have to eat humble pie. Like he's got the talent, but he's not consistent. Nice. Pedro Porro, he's been poor all season. Destiny, he's been poor. Like there's been even Bentancur when he played, he's been inconsistent. Solanke, who we spoke about, that's given us good performances. He's not scored enough goals. Son, he's been poor this season, right? Brennan Johnson, he scored the goals, but he's not good enough. He doesn't play well enough. Madison, I think he's putting up the numbers, and I think Madison's probably had a decent season, but I think he's had several good games, he's also had poor games. He's also had average games that are not good enough for a player of your caliber. So like players are not performing to the level that the manager requires. But I also think that the manager is not coaching this team well enough. And that's my concern now, because it's like, okay, they're backing the manager. They have to, because Daniel Levy came out at the start of last season saying, "Oh, we've got our Tottenham back. This is the man for us. Oh, we lost our way." So he has to stick with Ange Postecoglou. So
that's the thing.
It's a bittersweet thing. Like I'm happy that they're gonna give a manager a chance, but at the same time, it's like the manager is showing me that he's flawed.
I can't lie. The Liverpool, as much as you guys like to bang on about Enoch and blah 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 blah, I think that Liverpool game showed me this is not the manager. This is not the manager, because in the Premier League, like you can't just play one way all the time in the Premier League. Like even Pep is finding that out this season. Teams have figured you out, running through you like no man's business, right? Even Pep, this is a 5-time Premier League. I know how many times he won the league? 6-time Premier League winner. That every season he's trying to change things. He's adapting. The season they won the treble, Stones in midfield, where we were killing the league until City just had their resurgence. This is if Pep Guardiola has the humility to be like, okay, you know what? I need to change things, right? What on earth gives Ange the divine right to think, "Oh, I'm not going to change"? When I see these headlines, right, and I read what he says, I'm like, bro, you are pompous, man. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, yeah, back him. Yeah, obviously he's got a bad hand with the ownership. You're not ambitious. You spent poor money on kids. But I think that Liverpool game, I mean, we started talking, and I remember his first bit of stick was Chelsea last season.
Yeah. And people were praising it. People were praising it.
And at the time when people were saying, like, no, this guy's an idiot. People are no. He's a man of principles. You know, he's gonna play one way. Oh, I saw people say, "Oh yeah, Arsenal came to Etihad. You know, Tottenham came here and won 4-0. You saw certain teams playing low block and blah blah blah." Fair. But bro, you can't be that naive. See your results. See the way you're playing.
I don't think it's naivety.
See the goals you're taking.
He's not dumb. And
be pompous as you are and say, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to change." What gives you the right to say that? That's what I'm thinking. I don't think this manager's it. I think, bruv, give him better players. his system is flawed. His system is broken. His way of playing is not going to work. His way of playing is only going to get you results 40% of the times. 60% of the times in the Premier League, you have got to change things. That's how I'm thinking. Back him all you want. Nothing's going to change. Bring Van der Ven in. Bring on all your best players. Let them start to a man. You can't figure out teams who are going to sit against you and counter and let you have the ball. That's why I think. But I think, unfortunately, as much as I like Ange, I don't think he's the right manager for Spurs. He needs to be sacked.
And this is the realization I have.
He needs to be.
This
sacked.
is the realization I have because he's the most likable manager. He's the most likable manager I think we've had since Conte. And you saw my videos on Conte. Conte made me sick in the second season, and the way Conte used to speak down on our club, it got to a point where it just looked like you're just stripping away accountability for yourself. With Ange Postecoglou, we have a manager who's got the right character, who's got the willingness to try and make Tottenham a success, who plays football in a way that's actually entertaining, attractive. He wants to play football akin to the better managers, akin to the Peps, akin to the Klopps. Like, he wants to do things in a way that actually makes me smile sometimes when I'm watching Tottenham play. And as I've said this, when it's good, it's good. That's why, like, there's no vim, there's no like bitterness towards Ange, but it's just like, it's the realization that like the way we play with you, it's just not going to work. Like that Liverpool game, you've got four of your starting back five out, and you don't even change
nothing.
The way in which you actually want to go about managing the game of football. And I actually thought he was doing that initially because I didn't see us pressing as aggressively high, but it felt like as we were conceding, he goes, you know what, I'm going to push this line even higher. And then he put Dragusin and Gray on the halfway line, and Liverpool, one goal kick splits us. One pass from Trent splits us. And that's why I don't think it's naivety. I think it's stubbornness. It's like you are playing a way that you know you're never going to get the full complement of players to execute. Like, it was dominant in Scotland because he had by far and away the best squad. Even if Daniel Levy was the best chairman in the world and had the best players to give you, you're never, ever, ever, ever going to build the most dominant team in the Prem. You're never, because we can't compete with Man City. We can't compete with any of these teams. What we can do is sign better players than what we've had now. Absolutely. But there comes a point where you have to win games off the back of your coaching. And he's done this for Tottenham. We saw games against West Ham. We saw games against City. We saw games against Aston Villa where he put Aston Villa in a muzzle. Like, it's not like we're asking him for things that he can't do. He can do these things. And this is what I was saying to you. Like, he can do it. I'm not looking at Ange as some dope. He can do these things. But because he's so wedded to his way of playing, it's like he can't see how detrimental it is to our squad. Kulusevski came out and did a press conference talking about maybe we should approach that game differently. Why? Because we don't get to rotate. We've just played a physically taxing game against Man United. We're playing up against the best team in the land. Like, you have to go about things differently. But when you say these things, some fans take that as, oh, you want him to park the bus. No, we don't. Like, and this is what I don't get. Like, why does asking Ange for change mean you want him to park the bus? You want him to play like Conte? There's a balance. There has to be a balance struck.
Good coaches have balance.
Exactly. And this is my concern. This is my realization as to why it's not going to work with this guy. It's not even a personnel thing. Like, the way you set your team up, it's just flawed. You leave your midfield, you leave your number 6 on the island by himself to defend too much space. You consistently leave your backline exposed. You commit way too many bodies forward for the attack, and you don't even have the profile of attackers that can consistently retain the ball well enough in the final third.
Yeah.
Our fullbacks, Pedro Porro, he's been terrible. Been asking for him to be dropped. Jeff Spence has been there all season. Why is it only now he's starting him? You see the performance against Liverpool. You saw the performance against Southampton. You saw the performance against Man United. He's been good, and he's only playing now. Every single time our fullbacks play, you leave them 2v1, 3v1 all the time. We let every team in the Premier League get their crosses in against us. We let players walk into our box unopposed, unmarked.
Set pieces. You're atrocious as well.
Like, there's so many ways. Like, there's so many ways teams cut us. Like, you've got some fans who are like, oh, but we're not conceding as many goals in transition as we did last year. Okay, fine. We're committing more bodies back for the transition, but we're still conceding goals.
Yeah, I think the sad reality of
gaps.
I think the sad reality with Tottenham, and which maybe a lot of your fans don't want to accept.
This is it from Sustainable. Sorry, one sec. He says, we just want Ange to adapt during matches or before matches to match up against the opponent. This is, praise the Lord. Like, this does not mean you have to completely go and play a 7-1, a 7-1-2. Like, we're literally saying, can you give us a plan to deal with Trent? Can you give us a plan to deal with Slot? Can you give us a plan to deal with Salah? Like, nobody's asking you to just throw away your football. And he says, if we had the players to play his style, it may work. But as you mentioned, we haven't got the players. We haven't got the players. Nope. And even when you have the players, even when we have the players that can play to his style,
the high line still doesn't work when Van de Ven plays, though.
Like, we're still... and
doesn't work as much.
But this is where the thing is, that's why I like, as much as I say he's not the man for us, and I'm sticking to that until I see something different. Like, I do also sympathize, because whilst we have some players that play to his style, we also have some players that don't play to his style.
Terrible players.
And I don't know how heavy a hand he had in bringing these players to the club. He wanted Brennan Johnson, but I don't think that's him going out of his way to say, I want him. He wanted Timo Werner. He said he was okay with Werner, but I don't think that's him going out of his way to say, of all the players in Europe, give me this player. We've seen how wingers in his system in Celtic play. That's not how Timo Werner and Johnson play.
Yeah, I mean, I could have given him that excuse maybe prior to this season. Okay, and even probably first 5 games.
I think you can give it to him this season, because you look at the players we brought in as well. You've brought in 3 kids, one of which is unknown.
It's terrible squad building, but I think
I'm glad you said the but.
It's terrible squad building, but and for a long time it's been clear. Okay, it's the ownership. But I can't lie. This season,
he can't hide behind it, sorry.
He's shown it's the ownership and it's also me.
Yeah,
because this guy, man, I'm like, I fear for you guys. You guys have lost 8 of 17.
Facts. And
you're still playing the way you're playing. I think, bro, you must be mentally challenged or something, like, to do the same thing. If you do the same, what do they say, like this? If you do the same thing except the same result, it's insanity.
Yeah,
and that's what. And this is the thing I made the point about Arteta. This is the thing I don't get about coaches now. It's like there's this. It must be some sort of arrogance where, how is it that you're the only one that sees things a certain way when every Tom, Dick, and Harry around you is telling you, bro, don't do this, change this, change that. Like, just be humble. Like, all you need to do is change, be humble. And I think that's what is going to set him. There's a lack of humility with and yeah, it is. It's 100% gross negligence. You're seeing the problem, but you're forgetting that to focus on the way you want to play. And then even with the comments he's making are you not entertained? I'm like, bro, this ain't Gladiator. This is not the theater, bro. This is a Premier League job. And you've got a job where you need to deliver objectivables. You've got deliverables. You can't be coming out and being like, oh, you know, and this is, and maybe not to talk too much about Arsenal, but this is the thing. It's not just about playing well. Who cares if you play well, but you don't get trophies? This is what fans wanted Wenger out for. Oh, that's why you see all these Arsenal fans, oh yeah, Wenger out. But now you're saying, oh yeah, I missed the Wenger football. It's like, bro, like, it's not. It doesn't have to be 2 extremes. You can have both. You can marry both. This is why Slot is doing well this season. It's just simple. He's got one element of the way he wants to play, but he's got another element on the way he wants to play. It's just that simple. It's not rocket science.
Facts. And the problem is, as I said, there are one too many Spurs fans who are at loggerheads. It's like, if you don't like the way Ange sets us up, it means that you love the way Conte sets us up, or you hate the way Ange sets us up. Or sorry, you love the way Ange sets us up, but you hate the way... Like, they can meet in the middle and they can coexist. Like, two things can be true. And then it gets to this whole point scoring of, oh, but you wanted attacking football. Now you got attacking football. I'm like, no. We want sustainable football. And it's why I've never, ever bought into this whole, oh, I would much rather lose and watch us play. No, I want to win I want to win as many games as possible. But what I also want to do is I also want to enjoy the team I'm watching. Right? you can do those things. We literally Spurs fans talk as if we didn't have a manager who did that. We literally had a manager who balanced attack and defense. Under Pochettino, we were one of the highest scorers in the Prem, but we had the joint best defensive record 2 seasons under Trot. Right? We had balance. We had a manager who was still known for his pressing, his aggression, but yet we could mix it up. We could go 3 at the back if we wanted to. We could go 4 at the back if we wanted to. We could keep possession. We could hit teams in transition. Like, we want a manager who just provides us literally a sustainable base.
You may need to bring back Poch.
A sustainable base. No, I don't think it's that. I think that ship has sailed.
I'm hungry there. I don't want to talk about Spurs anymore.
But sorry, we'll end this. But the problem is, Ange, and Ange is, for me, my biggest concern with Ange is, and we've done this stream so many times, and I've said, you know what, I'm backing him to change. I think he's going to change. Eventually, the Premier League is going to slap him in his face. He's going to change.
It's sad.
When it's good, it's good. But now, like, it's actually sad.
It's sad because I like him, man.
So do I. I like
football managers that are what's the word? Idealistic, man. But I think for football, if only football was about ideas and philosophy and art and poetry, then Ange would be top of the league. But it's not about that. You need a well-built, well-oiled machine, and he just doesn't have that.
100%.
His system is broken. His system is flawed. You just need to accept that, rip up the rule book, and bro, bring. I even wonder as well, what's his coaching team like?
He's got Mal Jedinak, Ryan Mason,
bro. Like what? Like how?
Like no one's like pulling, like, who's
weird.
No one's pulling them up on this. Sorry, there's a couple of comments. There's a big up Fran. She says, love and Xmas greetings from fellow identical twins. She supports Man United, so she's a twin as well. She says she supports Man United and I'm an Arsenal fan. Keep up the great work. Big up to you both. Merry Christmas.
Sorry about the team you support.
Big up Eli as well. Big up everyone in the comments. Thanks for commenting. Make sure you smash the like button as well. But yeah, to end on this, right? I think where the rubber has met the road now is the fact that when you listen to his press conference,
Ryan Mason, let me see the soup. This is hilarious.
Ryan Mason still.
Do you know how nuts that is? So Ryan Mason,
he's rated behind the scenes at Tottenham anyway. But if I speak, I'm in big trouble. One of my concerns with Ange, and I'll end on this, is that, like, for someone who is so principled and who has taken accountability when the results haven't gone our way, it's like you're so oblivious to the fact that your methods are straining this team in ways that, for whatever reason, you can't comprehend. Yeah. You look at that Liverpool game, everyone's quick to talk about, what team misses the players we miss against the best team in the league.
Look at the positions of your players.
And then I'm like, look at the gaps. Like, this isn't a personnel thing. There was literally, I could have freezed about 20 times where the likes of Szoboszlai, acres of space, no one run into.
You guys are making this guy look like Messi, Lionel Messi.
This is what I said to Grizz. I'm like, the fact that a guy who had only scored 1 goal, forget about numbers. Okay, I don't even want to talk about numbers. A guy who his pass appreciation's poor, doesn't really run games of football. Okay, he's playing better. He's been playing better.
He's a decent player, man.
He's got good qualities, but the problem is Szoboszlai he's been poor for Liverpool.
He's been nowhere near what the level he was at Leipzig.
Exactly. Nowhere and the fact that if I look at that game, that's one of the best games I've seen from him in a Liverpool shirt. And that's come at our expense because we've let a guy who's been handled by several teams in Prem come to our ground and make a mockery of us because we've given him space and time. And that's what I don't get with Ange. I'm like, no matter what you think of these players, they're Premier League footballers. Yep. They're going to hurt you. If you give this guy space, if you give Mo Salah space, if you give Diaz space, they're going to hurt you. It's no coincidence. Luis Diaz, guess what? No goal in the Premier League since October, since 2 months. 2. And of course, he should have bagged a hat-trick against Spurs. This is what annoys me. It's like, we lost 6, but we could have lost by 10. Yeah. And you still have fans saying, oh, it's just a personnel thing.
No, absolutely not.
It's
a system issue. You made an average player. You made a decent player look like a world beater when he's not. It's like what Chelsea did with Havertz last season when we battered them 5-0.
See, look at this comment. It goes, Szoboszlai contributes to winning, Kulu doesn't.
That's a fair point.
How?
I mean, he's part of a winning team.
Yeah, but has he played well? You just said he's been poor.
He's played okay.
But come on, man. This is what I mean. This is what I mean about winning bias. If Kulusevski, who's doing more in an inferior setup is rated less than the guy who's doing less in a superior setup because their team's winning. Doesn't make sense to me. But anyway,
Man said Mikel isn't that good either. Both are. Yeah, I mean, he is underperforming. 100% he's underperforming. But Mikel Arteta, he's able to balance attack and defense. He's just focused a lot more on defending than he has offensively this season.
Yeah,
but
I don't know why he's gone the other way.
I don't agree with that. I think he's a much better manager.
Pick up Johnny. He says Szoboszlai has been terrible for us, but he's actually been much better since returning last international break. But yes, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that I agree.
I agree with this. And I even said before the game, I think his form had picked up. Like, forget about G&A. Like he was actually playing better for Liverpool. But let's not pretend if Szoboszlai if what Szoboszlai has done since he signed till now was in a white shirt for Tottenham.
How much did they spend on him?
£60 million was in a white shirt for Tottenham.
Yeah,
I promise you the energy would be different.
Nah,
and that's what I mean.
People talk about Gerrard. I don't see him. Szoboszlai doesn't dominate games for Liverpool. Like I think
physically he does because physically, but that's the problem.
No, but that's the issue. Where's the quality?
Exactly.
Where's the quality?
Exactly.
Like, where's the bro? You're meant to be pulling strings in that midfield.
Exactly.
Nah, like
nobody was watching.
If anything, Gravenberch is pulling more strings in Liverpool's midfield this season than Szoboszlai.
And this is so funny. Man said stat padding in a shit team. Kulusevski's performed against Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, but stat padding in a shit team. This is what I mean about some of these Liverpool fans. You're mental, bro. You're absolutely mental. Seek help.
Arteta has also, he has, but compare that to what everyone else has spent.
Big up Aura as well. He says, winning games hide stinky performances. It's why Grealish got away for so long. Another one. Yeah, they called me a hater. They said, Tobs, you're hating. You're chatting rubbish. Listen, Father Time reveals all. Time is truly the best humbler. Right. So let's just see how it goes. Szoboszlai is young enough to turn around his Liverpool career. Absolutely. Because that player at Leipzig wasn't just make-believe. We literally saw him mash work at Leipzig. So he's got the talent.
And even for Hungary, but he doesn't play like that.
Liverpool, it's pants for the most part.
Liverpool.
Anyway, big up to Kulu, big up to the rest of them, man. Big up to all of you lot for tuning in. Nottingham Forest story. That's an L. Whew. Sustainable shooter. I saw your comment. That's an L. We're losing that game tomorrow because
knowing you can probably go there and get a result.
We should go there and get a result. I don't care how good they played. We should.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest are not Barcelona. They're Nottingham Forest. And I'm not saying that to take the mickey. I said that before we played them at our ground. They're not Barcelona. Like, you should be beating them.
This is so funny. Comparing Szoboszlai to Grealish shows you are casual. Okay. Anyway, people, we're out. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Keep your post notifications turned on. We will be back next Monday. Bless up.
Take care. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Nice.